Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Happy Monday. In our top story, St. Croix experienced its third death for 2017. Attendees at a local cockfight experienced open gunfire. The Virgin Islands police have stated that they do not yet know who the assailants are, nor the motives behind the shooting. However, one resident lost their life. Please be advised some of the images may be a little graphic. Viewer discretion is advised. Stephanie Brown files this report.
On Saturday, March 11th, at the Cockpit in Estate Glen, 16-year-old Juan Aponte was shot and later died on the scene. Virgin Islands Police Commissioner Delroy Richards made public statements detailing that patrons at the Cockpit heard gunshots from outside the business. The Virgin Islands Police Department issued a press release informing that one adult male received a gaze to the face, a second female victim that is an employee at the establishment received a gunshot wound to the leg, and a third unidentified male suffered a gunshot wound to the head and had to be airlifted. Reportedly, as officers arrived on the scene of the crime, one officer noticed that a man identified as 36-year-old Eduardo Ortiz Jr. was acting suspiciously. According to release statements from the Virgin Islands Police Department, Ortiz got into his car and officers followed him, initializing a car chase that ended in an undisclosed home in Barron Spot. The incident occurred at 8 p.m. However, issued statements indicate that the emergency call center wasn't contacted until about 8:23 p.m. Commissioner Richards further exclaimed that he did not know if the shots fired was targeted to the juvenile victim or the airlifted victim that is being identified as a 59-year-old man. In this video circulating on Facebook, you can hear the gunshots firing and see patrons ducking for cover. The Criminal Investigation Bureau is working on all leads for this case. For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
Although police took Edgardo Ortiz Jr. into custody following a car chase, they do not have any definitive information linking him as the shooter at the Cockpit. Well, no update after a bomb threat was called into the 911 emergency call center on St. Croix at approximately 10:20 a.m. on Friday, targeting the St. Croix Educational Complex High School. The school was immediately notified of the threat and evacuated. Department of Education officials say the appropriate evacuation protocols were activated, directing students and staff to the UVI field and campus safely away from the high school. Emergency personnel and VIPD bomb squad units subsequently conducted a thorough search of the high school campus, and no bomb or suspicious device was found. The campus was deemed safe for students to return at approximately 11:45 a.m. Classes resumed their regular schedules. Call VIPD if you have any information that can assist. On February 3rd, detectives from the Economic Crime Unit initiated an investigation into an individual passing forged bills or notes. The investigation revealed that 23-year-old Jamar Frederick committed the crime of passing forged bills by cashing several counterfeit checks created with local businesses, accurate account information with forged signatures. Here's more.
On March 10, 2017, at approximately 3:09 p.m., detectives from the Virgin Islands Police Department Economic Crime Unit, along with members of the Special Operations Bureau, executed an arrest warrant and a search warrant at Estate St. John in Christiansted. Arrested was Mr. Jamar Frederick, who is charged with obtaining money by false pretense, forgery passing forged bills or notes, grand larceny, and identity theft, unauthorized possession of a firearm, unauthorized possession of ammunition. Upon execution of the search warrant, a black handgun XD-40 was found and confiscated. The bail was set for $75,000. Unable to post bail, Mr. Frederick was remanded to the Bureau of Corrections pending advice of rights hearing.
And here's an update. The Virgin Islands Department of Education St. Croix Office of the Insular Superintendent, along with representatives from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, they met with parents of Alfredo Andrews Elementary School students on Friday to provide an update on the status of the school following a one-day closure on Wednesday, March 8th. OSHA's director, Dean Andrews, notified parents, teachers, and Board of Education members that the district appropriately responded and acquired no violation by closing the school on March 8th to deploy specialized cleaners to thoroughly sanitize the building that houses the cafeteria and kitchen. Dust, which resulted from heavy overnight winds on Thursday, March 7th, was removed from the central air conditioning vents and from the building following the cleaning. Both OSHA and the Virgin Islands Department of Health deemed the school safe. OSHA conducted additional tests in the cafeteria and kitchen today. Be sure to count on 2 to keep you updated. Recently, Governor Kenneth Mapp relieved his communications director, Sherry Muñez, of her duties. It has been less than 1 year since Muñez served as the communications director. No information has been released to inform why Ms. Muñez was relieved. However, Mr. Sam Topp, the deputy communications officer at the Virgin Islands Government House, released statements informing that all media inquiries regarding the office of the governor should be directed to him. At Ms. Muñez's appointment on May 16 of 2016, government house officials had described her as being an accomplished media relations professional. Well, the casting of lots, which determines the order in which candidates will appear on the ballot, that was held on Friday, and these are the numbers and where they fall on the ballot. Lloyd Williams, number 1, Gilmore Estrell, 2, Randolph Thomas, 3, Alma Francis Heiliger, 4, Darian Wheatley, 5, Robert Max Schanfarber, 6, Justin Harrigan Sr., 7, Gustav Dowling, 8, Barbara Peterson, 9, and Wilma Marsh Monsanto, 10, Janelle Saru, 11, Patrick Simeon Sprout, 12, Stephen Smokey Frett, 13. Now, Carolyn Fox, election supervisor, said the St. Thomas St. John board will meet at 1:30 on Tuesday at the election system offices. Members will consider the approval of the official ballot for the special election. Special election will be held on April 8th, 2017. Governor Kenneth Mapp departed the territory on Sunday to meet with cruise industry leaders at the annual Sea Trade Cruise Global Conference in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter is serving as acting governor until his return to the VI on Tuesday. Sea Trade Cruise Global is sponsored by the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association and the Cruise Lines International Association. The conference and exposition brings travel professionals, cruise lines, vendors, and government officials from around the world together each year. Well, to get a brighter picture of our town, Frederiksted on St. Croix, Senator-at-Large Brian Smith met along with members of the Democratic majority, and that discussion centered around the organization's inability to carry out its annual revitalization program, abandoned and dilapidated buildings, property acquisition in the town of Frederiksted to build a 2-story garage. Alfonso Franklin, who's the executive director, told the senators that they used to receive financial assistance from a development block grant program, but that ended. Hugh Payne, the president, said the amount is $161,000 that's needed for their programs. Senator Smith said further discussions are needed with all stakeholders, such as members of our town Frederiksted community, government agencies, the Frederiksted community, and everyone involved to come up with a strategy. Well, last weekend, President Trump accused his predecessor of wiretapping Trump Tower during the election, but did not provide any evidence to support the claim. The House committee investigating is demanding to see it, and the deadline was today. Scott McLean is in Washington with more.
Do you know whether Trump Tower was wiretapped?
What I can say is there are many ways to surveil each other.
Kellyanne Conway raising plenty of eyebrows this weekend in an interview with a New Jersey newspaper, seeming to take President Trump's wiretapping allegations even further.
You can surveil someone through their phones, through their, certainly through their television sets, any number of different ways.
But by Monday morning, she was walking back her comments, saying she was speaking about surveillance more broadly.
I'm not Inspector Gadget. I don't believe people are using the microwave to spy on the Trump campaign. However, I'm not in the job of having evidence. That's what investigations are for.
But one of those investigations may not happen unless the Department of Justice provides evidence to the House Intelligence Committee by today.
The president has one of two choices, either retract or to provide the information that the American people deserve.
Members of both parties are skeptical.
I have not seen that evidence.
Well, I don't expect we're going to see any evidence.
No evidence, but no shortage of confidence from the White House.
The president was very clear in his tweet that it was, wiretapping. That spans a whole host of surveillance types of options.
The White House pointed to media reports that suggest broadly that surveillance took place during the election, but did not provide any direct evidence that the president was ever under surveillance. In Washington, I'm Scott McLean.
Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers, we will see shortly there, the Dow is down 21, NASDAQ and S&P up. Coming up on NEWS2, Innovative provided lots of money to the Vocational and Technical Education Board in 2013, and one of the programs that has been launched as a result of that, a special ceremony was held for them today, Cyber Patriots. That's coming up next. Welcome back. Well, most states sprang forward an hour to begin daylight savings times on Sunday, but the federal government doesn't require the U.S. states or territories to observe daylight savings time, which is why residents of Arizona, except for residents of the Navajo Indian Reservation, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Guam, and the Northern Marianas Islands, did not need to change their clocks this weekend. However, your television programming times change once again. We'll have some information for you. Now, this Thursday, March 16th and Friday, March 17th, just a reminder, regularly scheduled programs will be preempted on TV2 due to coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Programming will be preempted from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., then 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. NEWS2 will be preempted on both days, March 16th and 17th. Also, NCAA games will be hosted next week. Just a little looking forward, Thursday, March 23rd and Friday, March 24th, preempting programming from, again, 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. and NEWS2. Please note the following daytime programming that will be preempted on Thursday, March 16th and 17th right there. They are, we got 12 o'clock NEWS2, the re-air, 12:30, The Young and the Restless, 1:30, Bold and Beautiful, 2 p.m. The Talk, 3 p.m. Let's Make a Deal, 4 p.m. Jeopardy, 4:30 p.m. Judge Duty, and again NEWS2, as well as regularly scheduled prime programming will be preempted from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. on Thursday, March 16th and Friday, March 17th, again, then on Thursday, March 23rd and Friday, March 24th. The Late Show, Stephen Colbert and James Corden will have a delayed start. The governing board of WAPA rendered its approval to the first phase of introducing new generating units to stabilize the Randolph-Harley power plant on St. Thomas. The board's action came at a special meeting on Friday afternoon. The board approved the authority entering into an engineering procurement and construction contract with Wärtsilä North America for 3 7-megawatt generating units at an approximate cost of $34 million. The acquisition of these units, again, will allow WAPA to begin a process of right-sizing the generation needed to more efficiently meet the demand for electric service in the St. Thomas-St. John district. And that came from WAPA's Chief Executive Officer, Julia Reimer Sr. Meanwhile, water distribution crews made some emergency repairs to a leaking of a water main on Moravian Highway adjacent to the Sherwin-Williams paint store. Customers west of the Vitima building, including the Content Knolls community, experienced a water service interruption earlier today. Crews began unrelated emergency repairs to a leaking main as well in Savannah, which affected service at the Savannah pump station. A water service interruption was being experienced in portions of Savannah, Anna's Fancy, and Solberg. Service restoration should all be complete. The Cyber Patriot Initiative was conceived by the Air Force Association. The first elementary level students were inducted at the Lou Muckle Elementary School in St. Croix earlier today. Cyber Patriot coach, as well as the program's company sponsor, spoke further. Here's more.
Extremely excited to having the first Cyber Patriot participants at the elementary school level. What this does is this starts the mechanism for students to get into cybersecurity and other information technology fields.
So today is a very exciting day for us at the Innovative Companies for a number of reasons. Lumuckle School is one of our adopted schools, and we're always happy to partner with them on any type of initiative. But this is very special because, as you know, we have really been working closely with the Department of Education and the boards when it comes to vocational education and STEM programs, and this is a wonderful program, the Cyber Patriot program. I think what's really special about this is the fact that younger students in elementary school will have an opportunity to start learning to code. So by the time they get to high school, I mean, they're really going to be seasoned veterans.
Congrats to our students there. Meanwhile, the St. Croix Central High School will be hosting their first annual Pi Day Math Expo. That's on Tuesday, March 14th, celebrated as International Pi Day from 8 to 11 a.m. in the school's cafeteria. Students will display original math games and projects in celebration of the Greek letter pi, which the symbol used in mathematics to represent the ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter. All students currently enrolled in a math class will participate and compete for prizes awarded to students who create the best day t-shirts and displays. Pi Day was founded by physicist Larry Shaw of the San Francisco Exploratorium in 1988 and is celebrated at educational institutions around the world. Also, the St. Croix Educational Complex High School Guidance Department, they're currently accepting applications for participation in the school year 2017 Magnet program. Interested 8th grade students in public, private, or parochial schools should contact the guidance counselor at their respective school immediately for application forms, because that deadline is coming up. That is March 29th. That is the deadline for participation and signing up. Members of the Virgin Islands Transfer Centennial Commission officials say there are many centennial events planned for the coming weeks. The kickoff event will be the reopening of the historic Fort Christian on March 24th, recently Governor Turnbull toured, followed by a spectacular boat parade courtesy of the St. Thomas Yacht Club and participants in the 44th St. Thomas International Regatta. A concert free to the public will close out the evening. Among them will be parades and ceremonies on St. Thomas and St. Croix to mark the 100th anniversary of the March 31st, 1917 transfer of the Danish West Indies to the United States. Among the Commission's goals, they say, is to educate the public about the importance of the historical event. And here is one of the organizations, the Christ Church Methodist Education and Outreach Services, their after-school program. They're going to be commemorating the 100th anniversary of the transfer with a grand celebration, the Transfer Centennial Cultural Jubilee. This exciting jubilee, they say, will be conducted on Thursday, March 30th from 12 noon to 5:30 p.m. under the Cinderella Bungalow and immediately surrounding areas in Rothschild Francis Market Square. It starts at 12 noon. The jubilee will feature ongoing entertaining presentations by students and a variety of guest performers from the Virgin Islands community. At set intervals, the CMEOs will also present living history vignettes portraying our rich Virgin Islands history and culture through dramatizations, songs, and dances. A major highlight at this enlightening jubilee will be a mini museum featuring artifacts, household products, and other items from the past 100 years. They are currently still seeking vendors as well as performers. Vendors' applications and performers' registration forms can be picked up at the CMEO's office directly across from the Cinderella Bungalow. Forms will also be available at the Christ Church Methodist office, and the deadline for the return of all the forms is Friday, March 17th. For more information, here's one number you can call Mrs. Priscilla Stradiron at 347-821-6446. Be sure to stick around. Your News to AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Good evening to everyone out here in the Virgin Islands. As we continue throughout the rest of tonight, we're just dealing with moderate trade winds around the Virgin Islands. Now, as we head into the latter part of the work week, we will see the trades begin to diminish. That's actually going to result in decrease in activity. Some showers around here and there for tonight, but we will see a decrease in that as we take you into, let's say, Thursday or so because of the trades. Now, as we continue now, really not picking up a whole lot, checking out the satellite estimated radar across Hispaniola back into Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands here. We are keeping track of a frontal boundary remaining well up to the north. Eventually, it is going to sag southward after stalling out just for a moment, but really not expected to make it as far south into the Virgin Islands. But of course, that's something to continue to monitor as we head throughout the course of this week. Tonight, enjoy the clear skies. Temperatures taking a tumble down to at around 73 degrees. For tomorrow, many folks enjoying that sunshine. St. John's, a perfect time to be out here in the Virgin Islands. Temperatures will be soaring into the 80s. We'll keep temperatures in the low 80s in St. Thomas, and also looking nice and tranquil here in St. Croix with plenty of sun around. Temperatures will be warming up to 85 degrees. Now, I do advise you small craft operators do exercise caution here as we continue tonight, also tomorrow as well, because sea wave heights climb to 6 feet and also getting in that easterly flow 15 to 20 knots. So if you are doing boating or if you are doing some swimming, please use caution. Also on the Caribbean side, with wave heights climbing up to 6 feet and also getting in the easterly flow, 15 to 20 knots out there. Checking out your extended outlook as we take you into Wednesday, just a shower in some spots. We take you to Thursday and Friday. We will see a decrease in the trades, decrease in some showers. Temperatures for the most part remaining into the 80s, so really not too bad all the way out into the weekend. Many folks will be enjoying that sunshine, and temperatures for the nighttime hours will be falling back into the 70s. Sandy, back to you.
Thanks for that. Not looking too bad. Demario Obeas of Ricardo Richards Elementary School shares this picture that shows some of the rain that we've been experiencing, cloudy conditions. Demario, mostly sunny for now, so things are clearing up. Thank you for that. Send us your news to weather picture to the address on the screen and then tune in to see it. You never know when it's going to run. That's all for this edition. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sandra Goman saying have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next time.